The story begins in a small, quiet coastal town. The kind of town where everyone knows everyone, where the streets smell of salt and fish, where the lighthouse stands tall on the cliff, guiding ships through the dark night. In this town lived a man named Adrian. Adrian was 32 years old. He worked as an accountant in a small office near the harbor. Every day was the same for him. Wake up at 6 a.m., drink black coffee, walk to the office, work on numbers until 6 p.m., walk back home, eat dinner alone, sleep, repeat. He had no friends, no family, no dreams. Adrian wasn't always like this. 5 years ago, he was a different person. He used to laugh. He used to sing. He used to believe in love. But then, his wife Elena died in a car accident. After that day, Adrian stopped living. His body was alive, but his soul was buried with Elena. Adrian lived in a small cottage near the beach. The cottage was old and worn out, just like his heart. The paint was peeling, the garden was dead, the windows were always closed. Every evening, Adrian would walk to the cliff and sit near the lighthouse. He would watch the sunset and talk to Elena in his mind. "I miss you," he would whisper to the wind. "I don't know how to live without you." The lighthouse keeper, an old man named Thomas, would sometimes wave at Adrian, but Adrian never waved back. Thomas understood. Grief does that to people. One stormy evening, Adrian was sitting in his cottage when he heard a knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Adrian frowned. Nobody ever visited him. He opened the door. Standing there was a young woman completely drenched in rain. She was shivering. Her hair was dripping water. She was holding a small suitcase. "Please," she said, her voice trembling, "I'm sorry to disturb you. My car broke down on the road. There's no hotel in this town. Can I please stay here for the night? I'll leave in the morning." Adrian stared at her. His first instinct was to say no. He wanted to be alone. But then he looked at her eyes. They were filled with fear and desperation and something else, sadness, a deep, familiar sadness. "Come in," Adrian said quietly. The woman stepped inside. She was shaking from the cold. Her hair was dripping water. She was holding a small suitcase. "Thank you so much," she said, her voice trembling. "I'm Lily." "Adrian," he replied shortly. He went to the kitchen and made her a cup of hot tea. Lily sat on the old sofa, wrapping herself in the blanket Adrian gave her. She looked around the cottage. It was simple, but lonely. No photographs on the walls, no flowers, no warmth. "You live here alone?" Lily asked softly. "Yes," Adrian said, handing her the tea. "It's a beautiful town," Lily said, trying to make conversation. "The lighthouse is stunning." Adrian didn't respond. He sat on a chair across from her, staring at the floor. Lily understood. He didn't want to talk, so she stayed quiet too. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the stranger in his living room. Who was she? Where was she going? Why did she look so sad? He shook his head. "It's not my business," he told himself. "She'll leave tomorrow. Everything will go back to normal." But somewhere deep inside, a small voice whispered, "Do you really want normal? Normal is just another word for lonely." The next morning, Adrian woke up early. He went to the living room expecting Lily to be gone, but she was still there. She was standing by the window, looking at the ocean. The storm had passed. The sky was clear and blue. "Good morning," Lily said, turning around. She looked different in the daylight, less scared, more peaceful. "I hope I didn't disturb your sleep." "You didn't," Adrian said. "Your car, is it fixed?" Lily's face fell. "I called the mechanic. He said the engine is badly damaged. It will take at least a week to get the parts." "A week? 7 days?" Adrian felt a strange mix of annoyance and something else he couldn't name. "There's a small inn near the market," Adrian said. "You can stay there." Lily nodded. "Yes, I will go there. Thank you for everything, Adrian." She picked up her suitcase and walked towards the door, but then she stopped. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "What?" "Why do you look so sad?" Adrian froze. Nobody had asked him that question in 5 years. "I'm not sad," he lied. Lily smiled gently. "You don't have to tell me, but I recognize that look. I see it in the mirror every day." And with that, she left. Adrian told himself he wouldn't see Lily again, but the town was too small, too small. He saw her at the bakery the next morning. She was buying bread and chatting with the old baker like they were old friends. He saw her at the harbor in the afternoon. She was sitting on the dock sketching something in a notebook. He saw her at the cliff in the evening. She was standing near the lighthouse, watching the sunset. Their eyes met. Lily waved. Adrian hesitated, then waved back. The next day, Adrian was walking home from work when he heard music. It was from the small park near the beach. Lily was sitting on a bench playing a guitar. A small group of children had gathered around her, clapping and singing along. When the song ended, the children cheered. Lily laughed, a genuine, warm laugh that seemed to light up the entire park. She looked up and saw Adrian. She waved him over. Against his better judgment, Adrian walked towards her. "You play well," he said awkwardly. "Thank you," Lily smiled. "Music is my therapy. When words fail, music speaks." Adrian sat on the bench next to her. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Lily asked, "Adrian, do you have any hobbies?" Adrian thought. He used to love photography. He used to take pictures of sunsets, flowers, and Elena's smile. But he hadn't touched his camera in 5 years. "No," he said. Lily looked at him. "Everyone has something they love. Maybe you've just forgotten." Over the next few days, something strange happened. Adrian started looking forward to seeing Lily. They would meet at the cliff every evening. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they just sat in silence watching the waves. Lily told him about her life. She was a music teacher from a city far away. She was driving across the country because she needed to escape. Escape from what? She didn't say, and Adrian didn't ask. Adrian told her about the lighthouse, how it was built 100 years ago, how it saved countless ships from crashing into the rocks, how the old keeper, Thomas, had been taking care of it for 40 years. "The lighthouse doesn't judge," Adrian said. "It just shines. No matter how dark the night is, it just keeps shining." Lily looked at him. Maybe that's what we all need, someone who shines for us in the dark. On the 5th day, Adrian noticed something. Lily was sitting on the dock staring at the water, but she wasn't sketching. She wasn't smiling. She looked broken. Adrian walked towards her and sat beside her. "What's wrong?" Adrian asked. Lily was quiet for a long time. Then she spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm sick, Adrian." Adrian's heart stopped. "What did you mean?" Lily took a deep breath. "I have a tumor in my brain. The doctor said I have maybe 1 year left, maybe less." Adrian felt like the ground had been pulled from under his feet. "That's why I left the city," Lily continued. "I couldn't handle the pity in everyone's eyes, the 'I'm so sorry' looks, the whispers. I just wanted to live, really live, even if it's only for a little while." Tears were rolling down her cheeks now. "I didn't want to tell you because for the first time in months, someone treated me like a normal person, not a patient, not a dying woman, just Lily." Adrian didn't know what to say. He did the only thing he could think of. He held her hand. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Elena. Then he thought about Lily. He thought about all the time he had wasted being sad. Elena was gone. He couldn't bring her back. But Lily was here, alive, fighting. And suddenly, Adrian felt something he hadn't felt in years. He felt the urge to live. The next morning, Adrian woke up early. He did something he hadn't done in 5 years. He opened the box in his closet and took out his old camera. He walked to the cliffs and waited for the sunrise. When the first rays of sun hit the ocean, turning the water into liquid gold, Adrian raised his camera and clicked. Click. It felt like waking up from a long, dark dream. From that day, everything changed. Adrian started living again. He cleaned his cottage. He planted flowers in the garden. He opened the windows and let the sunlight in. And he spent every possible moment with Lily. They walked on the beach at dawn, collecting seashells. They had breakfast at the small bakery, laughing at silly jokes. They sailed on a small boat in the harbor, feeling the wind in their hair. They climbed the top of the lighthouse and watched the entire town spread out below them like a painting. "It's beautiful," Lily whispered. "Yes," Adrian said, looking at her. "It is." One evening, they were sitting on the beach, watching the stars. "Adrian," Lily said softly, "I want to thank you." "For what?" "For making me feel alive, for treating me like I matter, for giving me the best week of my life." Adrian turned to face her. The moonlight was reflecting in her eyes. "Lily," he said, his voice trembling, "I need to tell you something." "What?" "When you knocked on my door that night, I was dead inside. I had given up. I was just existing. But you brought light into my darkness. You made me remember what it feels like to live, to laugh, to hope." He took her hand. "I don't know how much time we have, but I know one thing. I don't want to waste a single moment. I love you, Lily." Lily's eyes filled with tears, but she was smiling. "I love you too, Adrian. I think I loved you from the moment you opened that door." They kissed under the stars as the waves sang their eternal song. The week passed too quickly. Lily's car was fixed, and it was time for her to leave. They stood at the edge of town, near the road that led away from the coast. Lily's suitcase was in the car. The engine was running. "Come with me," said Lily suddenly. Adrian looked at her, surprised. "Come with me," she repeated. "Let's travel together, see the mountains, see the forests, see everything. We don't have much time, but we can make it count." Adrian's heart was racing. Leave this town? The town where he had lived his entire life? The town where Elena was buried? He thought about his cottage, his job, his routine. And then he thought about Lily, her smile, her laugh, her light. "Okay," Adrian said. "Okay," Lily's eyes widened. "Okay, let's go. Let's see the world." Lily jumped into his arms, laughing and crying at the same time. But before they could leave, something happened. Lily collapsed. One moment she was laughing. The next moment she was on the ground, unconscious. Adrian's world shattered. The hospital was 2 hours away in the nearest city. Adrian drove like a madman, holding Lily's hand the entire time. "Stay with me," he kept saying. "Please stay with me." At the hospital, the doctors took Lily away. Adrian was left in the waiting room, alone. Hours passed. The clock on the wall ticked loudly. Each second felt like an eternity. Finally, a doctor came out. "Are you family?" the doctor asked. "Yes," Adrian lied. "She's my wife." The doctor sighed. "The tumor has grown. We need to operate immediately. But I have to be honest with you, the chances are not good. Maybe 30%. Adrian felt his legs go weak. "Do whatever you have to do. Please save her." The surgery lasted 8 hours. Adrian sat in the waiting room, staring at the floor. He prayed, he cried, he made promises to God. "If you save her," he whispered, "I will never waste another day. I will live every moment. I will love with all my heart. Just please, please don't take her from me." At 3 a.m., the doctor came out. Adrian jumped to his feet. "How is she?" he asked desperately. The doctor smiled. "She's stable. The surgery was successful. We removed most of the tumor. She will need rest and treatment, but she's going to be okay." Adrian fell to his knees. Tears streamed down his face. Tears of relief, of joy, of gratitude. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you." When Lily woke up, Adrian was sitting beside her bed, holding her hand. "Hey," she said weakly, her voice hoarse. "Hey," Adrian smiled, tears still in his eyes. "You scared me." Lily squeezed his hand. "I'm sorry. I promised you an adventure, and instead—" "Shh," Adrian said softly. "The adventure can wait. You're alive. That's all that matters." Lily looked at him. "You stayed." "Of course I stayed. Where else would I go?" "Most people would have run when things got hard. When they found out I was sick, they would have run." Adrian leaned closer. "I'm not most people, and I meant what I said. I love you, in sickness and in health, for however long we have." Lily smiled, a beautiful, tired, grateful smile. "I love you too." Lily spent 2 months recovering in the hospital. Adrian was there every single day. He brought her flowers, he read her books, he played her favorite songs on a small speaker. When she was finally discharged, they didn't go back to their old lives. They went on their adventure. They traveled to the mountains and watched the sunrise from the peak. They walked through ancient forests and listened to the birds sing. They visited waterfalls, deserts, small villages, and big cities. Everywhere they went, Adrian took photographs. And everywhere they went, Lily played her guitar. They were poor in money, but rich in love. 1 year later, they returned to the coastal town. The lighthouse was still standing, tall and proud. Thomas, the old keeper, welcomed them with a warm smile. "I knew you would come back. This lighthouse has a way of calling people home." Adrian and Lily stood at the edge of the cliff, looking at the ocean. "Do you remember the first night we met?" asked Lily. "How could I forget?" smiled Adrian. "You were drenched like a wet cat." Lily laughed and playfully hit his arm. "Hey!" Adrian turned to face her. He took her hands in his. "Lily, that night you knocked on my door looking for shelter, but you gave me something far more valuable. You gave me hope. You gave me a reason to live. You've saved me." He got down to one knee. Lily's eyes gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. "Lily," said Adrian, pulling out a small ring, "will you spend whatever time we have, whether it's 1 year or 50 years, with me? Will you marry me?" Lily was crying, happy tears. "Yes," she whispered, "a million times yes." They kissed under the stars as the waves sang their eternal song. They got married in a small coastal town. The ceremony was simple, just them, Thomas, and a few townspeople who had become like family. Lily wore a white dress with flowers in her hair. Adrian wore a simple suit. They exchanged bows at the face of the lighthouse as the sun set over the ocean. "I promise to love you in the light and in the dark, in health and in sickness, today, tomorrow, and forever," said Adrian. "I promise to shine for you even when the night is darkest, to remind you that hope never dies, to love you with every breath I have," said Lily. They kissed as the lighthouse began to glow, its beam cutting through the approaching night. The doctors were wrong. Lily lived. Not just 1 year, not two, 10 years and counting. Was it a miracle? Was it love? Was it the sea air? Nobody knew, and nobody cared. What mattered was this. Adrian and Lily bought the old lighthouse when Thomas retired. They turned it into a small guest house for travelers. People from all over the world came to stay there. Artists, writers, musicians, and broken souls looking for healing. And everywhere they went, Adrian took photographs, and everywhere they went, Lily played her guitar. They were poor in money, but rich in love. On the mantel there was a small sign that read, "In the darkest night, be someone's lighthouse. Shine anyway." And so if you ever find yourself lost, if you ever feel like giving up, remember this story. Remember that hope is real, love is real, miracles are real, and somewhere on a cliff by the sea, a lighthouse is shining just for you. Thank you for listening to the Lighthouse of Hope on Love Diaries. Life is short, too short for regrets, too short for fear. If you love someone, tell them. If you have a dream, chase it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Make this moment perfect. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs hope today. And don't forget to subscribe to Love Diaries for more stories that speak to your soul. Until next time, keep shining, keep loving, keep hoping. Good night.